Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Volmer. And firstly, I'd like to apologise for not making it to Gets once again. Unfortunately, it was just not possible. And so, as a bit of a bonus video for those who didn't make it, and also this is also a video that I've been meaning to do for a long time. Because I've been collecting bits and pieces for the layout for over the last 6 weeks or so, and I've slowly been putting it all together, and I've been meaning to put it into one video, and this is the video. The reason why I haven't been doing it previously is because obviously I've been concentrating on getting the actual work done, either on the town scene itself or with the layout itself, and with me going into London. And so this particular video has kind of been put back because I kind of wanted to do all of this stuff, because a lot of this stuff that I'm going to show you is all mainly to do with the new town scene. So it kind of made sense to try and get the town scene virtually as finished as I can, and then sort of show it to you so you can have a real good look at it. So a lot of what you're going to see is to do with the town scene itself, and there's a couple of new additions as well. One was a pre-order, and another one was one that I'd actually sort of did as a trade, as it were, like I said, over at Hampshire Models. So, and that I've had for quite a while now, but it hasn't really run, or nobody's really seen it. So you're going to get to see it today. But like I said, I haven't really run too many trains over the last 6 weeks, because I've just been concentrating on working on the town scene, and also doing some long awaited bits that I've been meaning to do on the layout whilst I've been off. And so I thought, well, whilst I'm off, that's what I wanted to do, just carry on with the town scene, do those bits on the layout, and basically then at the end I can just present it to you all in the best possible light as I can. So there's a lot to get through, so without further ado, we're going to get on with it. So the first thing to show you, it's like I said, I've got loads and loads and loads of vehicles and stuff for the town scene and other bits and pieces. So we'll start off with some of the vehicles. So for those of you who missed it, you might have seen this, but a lot of you probably would have seen it. So it was just as a reminder. I'm showing you this as a bit of a reminder for those who hadn't seen it, and that was this Volvo Arctic lorry. Now, all these vehicles I'm going to show you won't necessarily be on the town scene at the same time, because the town scene is still, although it's got bigger, it's still relatively limited. So this is kind of going to be a case of like I can chop and change the diorama as and when I feel like it. So anyway, so this is just briefly to touch upon this. And this was an absolute bargain off of eBay. It cost me £13 at the time. So it is really, really cool. This is a Volvo. And I bought it because I wanted a Volvo tractor unit. So I'm not going to go too long into this one because, like I said, you've seen that one before. The next thing to show you is an EFE bus. Now, I'm going to show you this one because this is one, I don't even know which one it is now. Basically, I had one of these already, and I've now added a second one to the fleet, so there's now two of them. So there was originally just the one, and this is an EFE Leyland Olympian, and it's a beautiful model. It's on the Route 140. I know that, to be honest, I do model image, so this is slightly on the older side, the sort of earlier 2000 side where you would have seen this. But to be honest, I don't really mind. Like I said, my layout kind of isn't based in any sort of particular year as such, but so there is a bit of modeller's license, but I'm not too fussed, in all honesty. Another model that turned up on the fleet is this beautiful model, because basically it's a Volvo Wright Eclipse Gemini 1. It's the first one, and this is on the route 148, and it's on the London United, as was and is all the buses you'll see, barring one, I think, or anyway. So they're basically, the majority are London United vehicles. So this is on the 148. I've seen this around. I've never actually driven this bus, but I have actually seen it around when I used to work for London United, and that's basically the crux of my buses. Are basically, most of them are actually London United, as they were the original company that I originally worked for. This is one of the more rarer vehicles and therefore one of the more expensive vehicles, but I've always loved the Volvo Wright Gemini. This version anyway, I think it's an absolutely exquisite bus. I think it's beautiful. And that is a Corgi equivalent. I do, and I have, got this London United Leyland Lynx, and this is my original one that I have, but I've since added to that and got another one, so that makes two of those, and again that was reasonably priced, and as you can see it's a Corgi limited edition. It's really strange because some of these buses are either very cheap or they're very, very expensive. So I've been lucky with a lot of them that I managed to get a lot of these on the cheap, but there have been one or two exceptions where I've had to kind of push the boat out in order to get to actually get them on the layout. So that's that. I also managed to pick up a couple of vehicles just to break it up. From Oxford Diecast, I've got this Volkswagen Transporter, sort of, I think it's a camper. It's really cute. I've got that one, and there is also a Range Rover police unit. I did see one on eBay which had the flashing lights attached to it, but I didn't go for it because I was wondering how I was going to fit it onto the layout in terms of if I was to put it on the new town scene. It'd be very limited on where it would go. It'd have to go over by the station side, so it can be wide through underneath the baseboard as opposed to the new town scene. What's next? The next thing to show you is this, which is a Brit bus, and this is another London United, and this is an Ollie, a Leyland Olympian, and it's a Leyland Alexander Olympian, and it's an absolutely beautiful bus. It's on the route 281 around Hounslow. I've seen these around, and I've also driven these particular ones, which is another reason for buying it. I've drove it in Stagecoach colours. I haven't driven it in the London United colours, but I have driven it in Stagecoach colours, and they are absolutely beautiful buses to drive. It's probably one of my favourite Deckers actually to drive, was one of these Leyland Olympians. Had a lot of fun driving the Stagecoach ones that we had. So next on my list of things to show you is yet another bus. Now this is, I haven't actually opened this out yet, but I'll show it to you on the layout. But this is an East Lancs Transdev number 9 route bus by Corgi. Now Transdev came after, when I worked at London United, Transdev, it became known as Transdev after, so this is in the transition period where it was taken over from London United. So this is actually ex-London United East Lancs buses that were being rebranded as Transdev, and the route number 9 was one of those that is on an East Lancs bodied bus, and it's absolutely beautiful. I've driven these. I've driven it for CT Plus, and I'll just show you that vehicle. So this is an East Lancs bus. This is a very rare bus to have. Those of you who collect model buses will know that this is extremely rare. This is a special commission on behalf of my bus company that I used to work for, called CT Plus, and this is HTL 12 on route 388, which was my home route for a long time. I was on the late 388 rotor driving these HTLs, and this particular example is HTL 12, and I've driven it on many occasions, and I've always enjoyed driving the HTLs. Actually, very easy to drive. Really enjoyed driving them. I really enjoyed the route. I enjoyed the people that I worked with, my colleagues that were on the same rotor as me and on the same late shift as me, and we had a great time together. And I have many fond memories doing this route. And this particular route, it was running late because it's been curtailed to Liverpool Street Station. It used to run when I was doing it from Hackney Wick to Blackfriars Station before it got extended to Embankment. It's now been extended further, so it now runs, instead of finishing at Hackney Wick, it now goes on to Stratford at the eastern end, and in the city end it now goes down as far as Elephant and Castle. But when I did this route, it was only going from Hackney Wick to Blackfriars, and this is one of the examples. Many happy memories on this bus. So that's the East Lancs, Millennium bodied, I think they were. Next, to talk to you about one of the locos. I've got a couple of editions, so we'll just break this up a bit more. One of the locos I got that arrived recently to the layout was one that I've been doing some exchanges for. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of culling on this layout, and this is one of the locos I got through the cull, and this is a GWR class 57, and this is I think it's Tintagel Castle, if I said that right. No, it was Stromwell Castle, sorry. 57602, and it's an absolutely gorgeous class 57. Absolutely gorgeous, and it's got a chip in it. So that is, I think it's got a chip in it. I can't remember if I put a chip in this. I think I have. I think I've put a chip in this. I'm sure I have. I'm sure there's a chip in that one. So that's one of the locos that's turned up. And then recently, I went to London with Gary, as you may have seen on the video previous, and we went to Covent Garden Museum, and we went to Acton Museum, and whilst I was in London, I picked up something that I've wanted for the layout for a while, and this seemed to be quite appropriate for my layout, and this is a Boris Master bus. This is in the London United colours on the Route 10, and this brings my layout bang up to date. So I've always wanted one of these for the layout, and this is one of the more pricier buses that I've bought, but nonetheless it's a beautiful bus. I've actually ridden on them. I haven't had the chance to drive them or anything like that, but they are beautiful buses. So as you may have seen on my London video where I did take a few photographs, it wasn't the smoothest of rides, I'll be honest, but it is a beautiful bus. That was one of them. Then we went to Acton, and at Acton Museum I managed to find a couple of bargains. Now one of them I bought more because I wanted to pay with my card rather than actually buy it itself, but it was still cheap enough to do it. Whether or not I still keep it, I'm not sure. I think I will, but I've got it anyway. This is the one I really wanted because I'd spoken to Paul about this to see whether he had it in stock, and it is an old model, but he didn't have it. And then by pure chance, whilst I was at Acton Railway Museum, they had a stall selling all kinds of bits and pieces, and this particular bus was sitting there, and it was one that I really wanted, and the price was just ridiculous, and you'll see it on the box. It's an Optare Delta, and it was only £5. £5 for this. So price of a Starbucks coffee, I got this. Ridiculous price, really cheap. And the reason why I wanted this bus, as you can probably see, is on the rail link, and it's also it's on rail replacement, and it's on rail replacement for South West Trains. And at the front, it says it's South West Trains, and it says Winchester on the front. And Winchester is not a million miles from here. In fact, I've done a lot of my training has been done at Winchester for Stagecoach. So it was one that I really wanted, and to be able to find one, and it's all sealed up, brand new, £5, bargain. This is the other one that I'm sort of oohing and ahhing. This is another Opter Delta, and this is on the Route 81 to Slough. Now, this particular bus is Westlink, and it was taken over by London United, and here it is, an Opter Delta, and that's on the 81 to Slough. So, but like I said, I bought these because I just thought they'd be appropriate for the layout at the time. And then something that cropped up also, which is so rare, it's really difficult to get hold of, and I was very lucky. I paid a bit of a premium for this one, to be honest, but it had to be done. And it is this Mercedes Sprinter van, and it's in a response vehicle on behalf of London Buses. This isn't actually made by Oxford Diecast. This isn't an Oxford Diecast model. This is a, I think it's a Northcord model, Creative Master Northcord model. And this is actually a slightly longer wheelbase version to the Oxford Diecast, but it is actually the same in terms of its dimensions. It's just this is a longer wheelbase version. Because I was quite, when I ordered this, I was quite actually eager to see, because I've got the 2 DPD Oxford Diecast ones. I wanted to see just how close the scale was, to see whether it was right or not. Something else I got was these lifting jacks from Bachmann. Now, the reason for these is not actually to use it for the trains, but to use it for the bus, and to see if it could withstand the weight of a bus. Now, I found out that these middle parts dropped down because they weren't secured properly, or well, I guess you can have it in a raised position or a low position, but I've chosen to super glue all of mine in position, and it turns out that it can actually take the weight of a bus. So that's really cool. It can even take the weight of a double-decker bus, which I've also experimented with. Then we come on to some really interesting stuff. Stuff that might not be so well known, but it's very useful to have on the layout. So there's this box here, and in this box I haven't actually touched it yet, but I found a company online that did figures. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'll show you how they come, but what I'll do is I'll show you the pictures that they put up online, so you can actually see, because for me to show it to you like this, you'll probably be looking at, going, well, I can't really tell what that is. But they are 3D printed figures, and I've got a number of figures. I've got 6 bus drivers stroke train crews. I've got a set of mechanics. I think I've got a man on his mobile phone, and I've got a pregnant woman, and I've also got a dog, and there might be something else, and a DPD or delivery van driver. So this is one of them here, like this, and that just shows you sort of, I think this is one of the bus drivers. Yeah, this is one of the bus drivers stroke train drivers. It's very difficult to see. I don't know if you can see it like that, where it'll pick it up. But if it doesn't, not to worry, because what I'll do is I'll put the proper photographs, the enlarged that the chap put on, and so you can see for yourself in more detail than what I can actually show you through my camera. But I've got a number of figures on here which I've purchased through, it's done through eBay actually. Now we move on to Gary over at Cheeky Tech, and as many of you will probably know, he started up his own business, and he's a very dear friend of mine, and he's been absolutely amazing for me, and he's done me some requests which are absolutely awesome. I've got a load of photographs which will also be a slideshow at the end of this, and he's done so much stuff, and I'm so grateful to him. Now, he's done me a number of London bus stops, and I'll show it to you, but obviously on the layout you'll see it, and it looks much better on the layout. But just to kind of show you what he's done, he's given me, I asked him about 5 of them, and he's given me 5, and he's made up 5 for me, and they're absolutely exquisite. And they've all got advertising, but different types of advertising. And this is like a London bus stop. It's very difficult to sort of show you, and you can see, and it's very typical, because when I was in London not so long ago, before I met up with Gary, every time I looked at the bus stops I just thought of him, because they were such an exact copy. I mean, they're just absolutely exquisite, with all these different kind of advertising and everything like that, and it just looks so immense and realistic. To go with the bus stops, he's also provided me with bus stop flags, and so to go with 5 bus stops, there's five flags, and let me just take one out so you can sort of see it. And again, you can sort of see the London buses kind of timetable board and London buses flags, and it's just so exact. So I was yeah, over the moon. So again, it's from Gary from cheekytech.com. So if you just go to cheekytech.com and go to his site and have a look at what he has on offer and see if anything there interests you. He's also made me some various, now he did show on his last video that he had some bins, and he's also made me some bins, but these are slightly different. He had NSC bins, and he's also done some other type of bins, which is like the ones, wall mounted ones, which were also NSC that he did on his layout. Forgive me one moment, not paying attention. I'm just trying to see if I can, they're really small, but you can sort of get a rough idea. These are like the wall mounted ones. It's very difficult for me to sort of show you, but that's the kind of wall mounted ones. And then there's these ones, which are the round ones, and these are the ones you sort of get in London. And again, you know, so have a look at his website and see what he has to offer. And he's also gave me some relay boxes. Now, I was actually surprised at these, because these relay boxes are a lot smaller than what you get from, I think, from Wills and stuff like that. And I was a bit, in the beginning I was like, God, they look a bit small. But the reality is when you put them on the layout, it's actually really right, and it's true. It's very difficult to kind of show you this, but it's so cool. So he's gave me some relay boxes, and again, I haven't put them on the layout yet, because the layout has only recently just sort of been finished in some ways, and it's not really finished. I'm still playing about with it. Some of the other things he's given me and done for me, I should say, is he's also done these sliding cabinets. Now these were, he did say to me that these were early samples, which is why he gave them to me. These aren't the ones that they're slightly different from the ones that you buy on his website. Nonetheless, I was really happy to and grateful that he allowed me to have his samples, because they really do the job really well. Now, they also got a cabinet, a little sliding drawer on it, which pops out, which is so cool. Oh, here we go. So you can have a little sliding drawer, So that's really, really cool. So I've got 3 of those, and the reason why I wanted those is to put it within the bus garage. So hopefully they'll go in there at some point. So if you are interested, please drop him a line at his website. It's cheekytech.com. Get my teeth in. Have a look at his website, see what he has, and if there's anything that interests you, by all means, send him a message. And you can also send him a request and see if there's anything that he might be able to help with if it's not on his website. So just have a word with him and see whether or not, if there's something that maybe you haven't seen or that you'd like, or just drop him a line and have a chat on the form, and submit him a form on his website, and just basically get in touch with him that way and see what he can do for you. But like I said, he's a great guy. He's totally reliable, and I love him to bits. He's just an absolute brilliant friend, and I'm grateful for what he's done, because the bus stops on their own you can't get anywhere else. These are specially commissioned that I've asked for, and he's done that for me, and he's done an absolutely wonderful job. Next, that's new to the layout, is, oh, no, that's not very clever, is it? I've got some trees. These are proper nice big trees. I was really, really pleased. I've had them on the layout to have a look, and I think they look absolutely cracking on the layout. These are from Woodland Scenics. They are quite pricey, but they do look fantastic on the layout. And finally, before we go to the layout, one of my pre-orders turned up, and so I'm just going to quickly show you a box, and then I'll take you to the layout and you can have a look at it on the layout. So the R number for this, it's a Hornby model, is R30023, and it is the GBRF Class 66, the pride of GB Rail Freight, 66773. And here it is in the box. And I also managed to get a decoder for it, a chip for it, TTS chip for it. I have to say, I did have a problem with the chip when I got it, but it's since been resolved. One of the wires had become desoldered, so the chip wouldn't work properly, but it's now good. So I'm now going to take you to the layout and give you a layout update. So before we head to the layout update, here is said 66773, pride of GB Rail Freight, I should say. God, I don't know what's going on with my words today. And I'm not going to dwell on this too much, because the reason why I'm not is because if any of you that own a Hornby 66 will know what they're like, and so I don't need to say too much about it. All I'm going to say about it is I know Sam's Trains did a review on it, and not on this particular example. He did a review on the Malcolm, and he wasn't particularly overly happy with his. But I'm going to disagree with him, and I'll say it that I'll disagree with him. I think for the money that I paid for this, you can't really complain. And I have to say, when I got this from my local model shop, Paul, it was a pre-order, and when I picked it up and I saw it, he took it out of the box, it was definitely coming home with me even before it ran. As you guys know, obviously the Pride livery has some meaning to me. But the thing that I was taken aback with about this particular model is the actual colour of the blue. This is the correct blue, and I have no idea why Hornby cannot get this blue right in the first place. I really don't understand that. And to be honest, they've still got a few of their Hornby GBRFs for sale. with the incorrect blue, and that may very well affect the sales, because unless you're not bothered, because the blue is so vastly different, that it's just crazy. This is the right blue, and this is the blue it should have always been from day one. But it's an absolutely beautiful livery. It looks very crisp. It does come with etched nameplates, so yeah, it isn't the best of runners in terms of its pulling capability, but that's kind of what you expect. And like I said, I have no problems with the rest of my Hornby 66 fleet. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm perfectly happy with this model. One of the many odd jobs I've been meaning to do with this layout and at this container terminal was to get it finished. And it's pretty much finished. It's not too far off done now. And one of the reasons and one of the many things I needed to do was to do all the rest of these islands and peninsulas that I had going on around the layout. I literally just only had the matchsticks laid out, but I never really filled them in and never got round to filling them in. So I've now filled in a lot of these islands. I've also added some paving along here. So that's all finished. All the lighting is now being finished to the new style T lamps, and they're all working, all of them, which I'll show you as well. And as we come along here, these islands have also been done. The lighting has also been rectified for the T lamps, so those are all finished. Also the island along the back has all been done, all the way along there, that's all been done. So all of these odd little bits have all been finished now. And if I take you along this island here, you can see that one was already done, but I also finished this island here, and also right down the back. That was actually done last night, this little one here. So all of these islands are now finished and painted up. The container terminal as a whole is now finished. I need to get, I've got some more planters, I should say, to add, which are these round planters. I've got a load of these still to add, so they'll be dotted around the layout. But essentially the container terminal is now done. And also, one of the other things I've done is I've taken the barrier over here, the concrete fence. I've added a concrete fence around the back there, all the way around, and finished that off, because what I've done is I will show you that I've amended the track plan slightly down at this bottom end. So we're going to go down to this bottom end. Down here. So as you can now see, I've got, let me just sort of go back a bit, that's probably a bit better. And if I zoom, there you go, you can sort of see it as it is now. Right, so you can now see that I've amended this bottom end of the track plan down here. I've got rid of the halt. The trains kept knocking into it, I wasn't really using it. I was never really 100% happy with it. So I decided that because I did have some running issues and I wanted to sort them out, I decided to sort of sort this out. And I managed to squeeze in another line which allows me to get my 3-car DMU out the way. It's also made me able to use this double slip, which I had in my box, which is very expensive, but I wasn't using it. And I had some trouble with some other points that were along here. So I've tried to kind of sort all of that out. And as it turns out, it works out absolutely beautiful, because now this DMU here, for example, can go straight into the bay platform, because it can come along here, cross straight over the double slip, straight onto this end and into the bay platform. And so that makes life a lot better. So here is my town scene, and my town scene is just, I'm really pleased with it. I'll be honest, I'm absolutely ecstatic with it. I haven't put any of the trees on it yet, but I fitted them previously, so I know that they're there. Like I said, one of them's going to go on that disc over there. The other one will go on this disc just behind the lorry here. But I've now finished it. I've added another building here right on the edge. I don't know if you can sort of see it, but there's one right on this edge here, and this is boots. I've now recessed these buildings into the back scene, which I'll take you around the back in a moment. And that basically creates a little bit of depth because the buildings are right up against on the actual paving. So by recessing it, I've managed to get my space back on to the town scene. And then we have the bus garage and the extension here. And we'll come on to that extension in a moment, but that's now fully lit up. Oh, it's all fully lit. All the lighting is now done on this layout. I will show you it briefly now, but what I'm going to do is going to add some pictures at the end of this video so you can totally check out the full effect in the dark. So as you can sort of see, it's dark, but it's not quite as dark as I can get it because this is still daytime. But I'll just show it to you anyway so you can see the full effect of the lights. And this is my whole town scene finished. Fully lit up. And in fact, the whole layout is fully lit. So if I just sort of give you a pan round. And there you go. So this is a bit of a closer look at this end of the layout so you can see it in its full glory. I'm really pleased with the way that this has all come out. Like I said, I'll pan you from this side so you can have a good old view. So there's no lighting anywhere else in this particular room at the moment. This is all the lighting is coming directly from the layout. So I am so super duper pleased with the lighting effects that I've got going on. Made them all myself, so I'm really pleased. And then obviously I've got some of the daisy chains that I've done. Now over here on this side of the layout at the TMD end, I've still got to sort out some of the LEDs have gone out at this end, so I need to sort out the ones that were in the building there. So they've got to be looked at to see where the problem is. But for now, you can see the amount of work that's gone in. Like I say, all the islands have been in, all the lighting's now finished and modified to the new style. The only lighting that's still on the old style is the one that's actually on the town scene itself, just on that bit of stretch of road. But apart from that, there we go. So if I just sort of try and get you a bit of a closer look at what it's like. I have taken some photographs, so I will be adding some photographs at the end of this. So something else to tell you is that we have a secret building on this layout. And as you can see, as you've probably seen from me panning it around, you're probably thinking, well, where is it? I can't see it. Well, that's the whole point. It's a hidden building. And that hidden building is hidden behind, if I can find my finger, oh, here it is, behind those shutters over there. And that's where my secret building is. So I'm going to take you to the back of the layout and I'm going to talk to you a bit more about this little row of shops as well. And then we'll get on with the secret building. So this is my hardboard back scene, and this is where the buildings are. Now, I've cut a hole, as you can see, into the backboard to be able to recess the buildings on the front into the backboard and make it look like it's all part of the unit. And as you can see, the lighting is just rigged up to this phono, That's just what I happen to have. It could be anything. I want to get some more of these little connector blocks that you just plug and play. That's ideally what I want to get, but this is what I had, so this is what I've used. And that allows me to remove the buildings that are on the other side of this. Now this bit here actually comes off because behind here is all the wiring that leads off to the various LEDs. So if I've got a problem with the LEDs at some point, I can just remove this back panel and then access the wiring and sort out the fault with any LEDs that's hidden behind this particular panel. And if I show it to you, it comes off relatively easy. And there you go, you can sort of see that it comes off. So you can see the wiring and how it runs to the LEDs. So if I've got any issues with the LEDs, it's not a problem. I can still access it and sort it out. So here we are, slightly further down, and as you can see there is a cutout here. And this is where the secret building goes. So if I remove that, you can now see that this is the shutter that you saw on the other side. So I'm now going to bring in my secret building, and here it is. And all that does is it just sits on top of my worktop, and I can push it into position to line it up. And all that does is line up with the back of the layout. Now I haven't glued in a stop yet, but I'm going to glue in a little spot piece of card so I know where to slot it up to make sure it's lined up exactly perfect. So let me take you to the other side so you can see it from the main view, and then I will take you back to the sofa and explain it to you in more detail. So forgive me, this is going to be a bit more freehand. I should really put this on a selfie stick. I'll just try and get you in nice and close as I can, give you an idea of what that building does. And as you can see, it gives you that depth, and it looks like the building goes way far into the layout, more than what it actually does. And as you can see, there's two buses parked up right on the inside there, and then there's one looks like it's coming out from there, which I think is really ingenious. I think it looks absolutely great. I just had this brainwave and I thought, let me make this building. So I'm going to switch on the lights so you can see it in the dark, and then afterwards we will take you back to the sofa and I'll show you the building in more detail. So I've got my selfie stick out so I can actually get in a bit closer, just so you can have a good view of the inside of the bus garage and how much depth it gives it just by adding my little secret building, which I think it looks really, really cool. A little bit of extra space, and if I come out a little bit, I've got to be careful to mind all the lampposts. You can see the work behind that bus garage there. And that's what that secret building's all about. So I'm going to go and take you back to the sofa, and we're going to discuss the building a bit more. So hello and welcome back to my sofa. And now we're going to talk about the secret building. So I guess you now know why I built it. I built it obviously to try and create a bit of depth to my extension piece for the bus garage. And I also did it as a bit of a challenge, because I always like to push myself with my modelling and come up with some new ideas. I haven't actually seen anybody come up with an idea like this, and I thought it might be quite a clever way and maybe open people's eyes to what else you can do with the other ways of improving your layout. Like I said, this building isn't meant to be seen as part of the layout. So here you go. So as you can see, it's just basically a box, a grey mountboard box, but it's what's inside that kind of creates it, because as you saw, this hole at the front here just basically pushes up against the backboard, and then it creates the almost like a seal between the two, so the vehicles can move between one part of the layout into this hidden box of the layout. And as you can see, it's quite substantial, and it's like that. That's how it looks like. So it's designed that I can push my hand right through it and push buses into position, and so I can adjust them through here. There's also a stop here, so basically the back wheels can come along that way, so if they roll back, they're not going to roll off. They've got that stop there. It's totally made out of card, 100%, using the glue sticks and my glue gun. So it just goes to show you what you can do with the glue sticks and the glue gun. So I made this box out of that, and let me just show you some of the other features it has. So I'm just going to drop you down for this final bit. There you go, I think that's about right. So this is the box in itself, and like I said, it's originally just supposed to push fit in there. And I can also, let me just get a bus for you, and then we can sort of show you in more details. So this is my Eclipse Gemini. So I can either just go through the back and just push it here, but if I bring it up to the top, because then you can see like, look, there's a little stop there. Look, can you see it can't go no further because the back wheels are hitting on the stop bar here at the back. So if they roll back, they can't go over. One of the other features I've incorporated into this was to release the roof to make it easier to position the vehicles. So what I can do is, if I pull this tab out and remove it, I can then slide this roof back and out, and there you go, that kind of totally lifts that out. So I can then sort of place the vehicles where I want them if I wanted to, you know, and then sort of, so I'm happy with that position, I can now put the roof back and slide it back on, and it goes on that tab there. And then this bar, this tab here, just holds the roof up like that, so it doesn't drop, and that's it, done. So I've got two ways of lining it up. So I'm going to put some more tabs onto the backboard so it does butt up exactly right all the time. But like I said, the whole point of this is just to make it easier for me to drop buses in and out if I want to. Like I said, just unpull, take that tab out, pull it out, lift the bus out. So I don't have to sort of go sort of awkward, because I was sort of aware that the board was going to hardboard this here, so then you've got to drop it down, it becomes awkward. So if you can remove the roof, instead of me sort of trying to go up and around, I can just go, right, okay, I'll just drop it off here. That's fine, I like it there, put it there, that's it, job done. And then just pop the roof back, like so. And then that is job done. Now the reason why there's this extra tab here is like a locking mechanism, because it stops this part of the roof from drooping down. So that's how it is. So basically you're not going to see the outside, so it doesn't need to be decorated. You're not going to see the top, because that doesn't need to be, because it's hidden, you don't really need to see. The only bit you're interested in seeing in this building is just literally the inside. So this is my hidden secret building. So I hope you've enjoyed probably my rather lengthy video, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed making it. I've been looking forward to bringing this particular video to you for ages. But like I said, because I've just been continuously either working on the layout, or I've been doing other videos and also trying to sort my own personal life out, it's just been delayed, but I'm really glad to have done this now and shown you. And to be honest, if I'd done this layout video earlier, the chances are you probably wouldn't have seen this secret building, because this was a bit late in the day. It was just kind of like a thought that I had, and me being me, when I get an idea in my head, I just crack on with it and get on with it. So this was very much a last minute kind of addition to the layout, but a very excellent and quality addition to the layout, and I'm really pleased with my building. So until the next time, it's goodbye from Mildenhall and Varmar. My apologies once again for not making it to Getz. Like I said, it is circumstances beyond my control on this occasion, and it was all last minute, unfortunately. But it is what it is. There are plenty of other times to go to exhibitions, and I think, to be honest with you, it's just about prioritising and being safe and all the rest of it. So until the next time, it's bye from Ilham Vollmer. Goodbye.